Hello there. I'd like to talk to you today about another great hymn. The hymn is called How Great Thou Art. It's a Christian hymn that was based on a Swedish traditional melody and a poem that was written by a man called Carl Gustav Boberg. It was written in 1885. It was actually translated into English by British missionary Stuart Hine, Stuart K. Hine, and he added two original verses of his own to the composition. Of course, it was popularised during the Billy Graham Crusades with the singing of George Beverly Shea and Cliff Barrows. How did he come to write these words? Well, the story is that Carl Boberg and some friends were returning home to Monsterass from Kronoback, where they had participated in an afternoon church service. Nature was at its peak that radiant afternoon. Presently a thundercloud appeared on the horizon, and soon sharp lightning flashed across the sky, strong winds swept over the meadows and billowing fields of grain. The thunder pealed in loud claps. The rain came in cool, fresh showers. In a little while the storm was over and a rainbow appeared. When Boberg arrived home, he opened the window and he saw the bay of Monsterass like a mirror before him. From the woods on the other side of the bay he heard the song of a thrush. The church bells were tolling on that quiet evening. It was this series of sights, sounds and experiences that inspired the writing of his song. According to Boberg's great-nephew, Bud, he reckoned that the origin of this hymn was the phrase from Psalm 8. Let me just read it to you. O Lord our God, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens. But I was very interested to see how Stuart Klein came to the conclusion that he needed to write this additional verse into the hymn. If I can just get to the right page of the story here. He was a missionary in the Eastern Bloc, and it was typical of the Hines to inquire of the existence of any Christians in any of the villages they visited. In one case they found out that the only Christians that their host knew about was a man called Dmitri and his wife Ludmila. Dmitri's wife knew how to read, which was evidently fairly unusual, fairly rare at that time. She taught herself how to read the Bible because a Russian soldier had left a Bible in her village, and she started to learn very slowly to read from reading the Bible. As they approached the house, they heard some strange and wonderful sounds. Dmitri's wife was reading from the Gospel of John about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And the visitors in the house, it was a house full of guests, the visitors, they were in the very act of repenting. Apparently in those days they were called the repenters, and they were very evocative and very expressive in the way they repented. And they felt it was wrong to go in and interrupt, so they listened outside to the noise and the exclamations of sorrow and grief because of sin, and the appreciation of these people that Jesus Christ had died for them. And he went and he wrote these words, "And when I think that God, his Son not sparing, sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin." I wonder if today, as you think about the words of How Great Thou Art, if you would stop and think that God, his Son not sparing, sent him to die. He sent him to die so that you and I could have peace with God, so that we can enjoy the forgiveness of sins, so that we could be right with God. He bled and died to take away my sin. May God bless you. May you know his richest blessing and salvation.